All right. Welcome, everyone. We're doing all the things. We're live on Facebook. I've got all of you fantastic folks who registered on, just making sure to admit everyone here, on our Zoom. Welcome, everyone. We're doing all the things. All right. And I don't know why that happened, but hopefully you're not hearing two of me again. We're on Instagram Live. So welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Cari Jacobson with the Optimal Holistic Health Center. And tonight's discussion on Dinner with the Doctors is about inflammation. So before I get into it, I just have to share that I am a chiropractic kinesiologist or an applied kinesiologist. And what that means is we look to balance what we reference as the triad of health. So structural, biochemical, emotional, and we really work to balance the triad of health. So what causes what? Ultimately, we're looking to get to the root cause of everything. And in the process, we want to balance everything else out so that we can get to that balanced triad space. So at Be Optimal, the whole idea is working to become your best self. And I opened 11 years ago. And the goal was that there would be something there for everyone to ignite you to your optimal place of health, whatever that looked like. And it might look like an applied kinesiology chiropractic session. It might look like getting an acupuncture or Chinese medicine session. It might be relaxing and learning how to take care of your skin with my holistic esthetician. It might be that you want to get a foot detox. It might be that you take one of our exercise classes. So we have so many things going on at Be Optimal. And to me, it's to each their own, whatever resonates with you. And a little bit of all of it might resonate with you. So that's what Be Optimal is all about. It's becoming your best self. It's increasing your vibration. It's helping you to learn what it takes to thrive. And myself and Dr. Abby have been really passionate about education. We really believe doctor in Latin means to teach. And so we believe educate first. And Dr. J.R. Hayes, who's our Chinese medicine doc, he does the same. So twice a month, we're offering Dinner with the Doctors for free. Dr. Abby and I do the second Tuesday of every month. And Dr. J.R. from the Chinese medicine perspective will offer a similar topic on the last Tuesday of the month, or the fourth Tuesday of the month. So be sure to tune in. We hope to get back in person because it's really fun when we can do it in person. We can do demonstrations, but we will always keep the meetings, the Zoom meetings and the lives, just so that we can truly connect with as many people as possible. Again, we believe in empowering people with tools and educating people so that they can be empowered in their own health. And so that being said, we've spent a lot of time putting together live and then ultimately recorded webinars. And that's on hot topics like hormone balance, thyroid, and how to keep that healthy, how to keep your children healthy and thriving. And in the process, you'll learn a ton for yourself because, of course, it's not just for kids. That actually has about 26 hours of research and preparation in about an hour and 15 minutes in the webinar. So those are things you can find on our website. We made it very affordable. So I think it's $18 to have the recording. And once you have it for life, to educate yourself, to go back to be reminded to remember. And then all these Dinner with the Doctors are recorded so that you can go back and learn about what information we shared with regards to different topics there. And that's just free and it's available on our website. So be sure to utilize all of our tools, all of the educational tools that we have on our website. It's beoptimal.com. You can absolutely learn a ton. And then lastly, I just have to share, we have really exciting news, which is that Be Optimal moved for the first time in 11 years. We are now located about 6 minutes away in Skokie, right off Old Orchard Road. And we are hosting an open house next week on the 22nd. So Wednesday, the 22nd from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. If you're local, if you're in the area, please swing by. We're going to have a close-up magician. We're offering free mini sessions. We're going to have a drawing, so there'll be prizes. There's going to be music. There's going to be catered food. So it'll be a blast. And really everybody's welcome. We really want you to feel what our conscious community is all about, and continue to just show you what we can do for you and your family, because we're on a mission to help as many people as possible to be as healthy as they possibly can, no matter what's going on in our world. So that being said, let's move to the topic, which is inflammation. And inflammation is basically the foundation for all illness and pathology. I'm just going to say that again. Inflammation is the foundation for all pathology and illness. And so what does that mean? How do we get inflamed? How do we get to that place? And how can we prevent it? So in looking at the aspects of, how we work, it was interesting. I'm going to digress for a moment. I had a patient the other day say to me, we were working on her eyesight, and I was doing a technique called quantum neurology. And quantum neurology works to re-educate the nervous system so that everything can communicate better in your body. And it's really hard for the nervous system not to be wiring and firing if you've had a trauma or an injury, a motor vehicle accident. Someone the other day I was working on got thrown from a horse. That's very traumatic. And it's like her body and our bodies can get stuck in that traumatic injury experience, like a broken record, as if it's always happening. And so it's when time goes like that, we almost can't remember when we felt good, because we've just been dealing with the stuff that doesn't feel good for so long. And so she said to me, Dr. Cari, if I just watched your dinner with the doctors, I would think all you do is functional nutrition, because we do focus a whole lot on functional nutrition and, what the fuel that we put in affects how we function. So what are things that we should be eating? What are nutritional supplements we should be taking? But when we have these in person, we get to do lots of demonstration and show you the different techniques in terms of how we would access the body and really show you what is muscle testing. How do we read the body? What do we actually do as applied kinesiologists? Because applied kinesiology uses muscle testing as a diagnostic tool. So with that, I may kind of branch off a little bit and just share with you a little bit about how it might look in my office with different techniques and how I might approach different situations. And what I'd like to invite is, especially for those of you that registered for the class, and I'll do my best. I can't see Facebook commentary, but I can see Instagram. So if there's anybody that has a question, that whatever it is that brought you to this particular class, whatever it is that might be ailing you, it's likely ailing another dozen or hundreds of people that may, tune into this. So I want to be able to answer whatever questions I can. This class is truly meant to be interactive. So please, feel free, don't hesitate to drop a line in the chat section, unmute yourself for a moment if there's a question that's burning. And then towards the end, I'll open it anyways for Q&A. I will end the lives, and then we'll have private time for those of you that are on Zoom and register. So if ever anybody out there is interested in, more sort of like time with the doctor, be sure to register and be on our Zoom class, because you'll get a little bit more personalized time there. So from a triad aspect, structurally, what can cause inflammation? One aspect is what I mentioned, which is trauma. So any kind of trauma, it could be like repeated, it could be that you're a marathoner and you have literally a repeated trauma. It's not necessarily normal for the human body to pound itself on pavement for 26 miles straight. So making sure that you get yourself adjusted, making sure that you that you're getting looked at on a structural space to make sure that all the nervous system and everything is nice and connected. It's really, really important from a structural standpoint, because what happens when we have injury? Inflammation happens. Hi, Judy. And Yolanda, I see that you were trying to get my attention. So you can go ahead and ask a question in the chat room and I'll do my best to answer. So, yeah, so I got lost in the shuffle here, but when we get injured, things inflame. And then what do we want to do? We want to ice it, right? And a lot of times you'll hear ice it and then put heat on it, and then wait a little bit and put ice on it. And what that's doing, that ice versus heat, and when you alternate it, is it's creating a greater circulation into the system. So it's doing what's called a vasodilation, vasoconstriction. So it's bringing blood to and from the area, and that can allow for healing to happen. So inflammation can be a really great thing for us when we are injured. It tells the body, hey, there's an injury here. You've got to be really careful. And that's a good thing, because we don't want to re-injure it or injure something worse. So we want our brain and our body to be aware of that injury or that area that's not happy. What happens though is that when we get chronically inflamed because of either, like I said, the nervous system getting stuck in sort of this broken record pattern and not being able to sort of distinguish that the injury didn't just happen. And so inflammation continues, or more commonly would be our diets and how our gut actually processes things and digests things or not. So that's a huge thing for inflammation. And then there's the emotional aspect. And we have something called cortisol that our body releases out of our adrenal glands, and our adrenal glands help us handle stress. And when we are stressed, it affects us physiologically. So there's tons of different correlations, and I'm just going to focus in on a couple of different things, because truly the inflammation topic could be geared into every single labeled pathology out there, pretty much, because most of it comes from being too inflamed. It could be that your gut's never really worked that well because you were born that way, because you just didn't have the microbiome diversity that was needed in order to, live as healthfully as you can. So building things up is really important. What happens, unfortunately, a lot of times is that people choose to go into a detox, or they detoxify something first, when really what needs to happen first is building up the system. Does that make sense? It's like trying to detox a drought. If there's a drought, nothing's moving, nothing's flowing in a desert so well. And until we can build things up in a stronger way, there isn't really an option for you to healthfully cleanse, because you don't have the strength or the ability to do it efficiently. If your drainage systems are not working well, and your cells and your body begins to start to detoxify, but your drainage systems are not releasing the toxins that are being released, it will make you feel terrible. And unfortunately, that happens a lot. It'll create more inflammation. It'll create a greater state of like heat and exhaustion and lethargy, when that's what you're trying to cleanse away from. But you end up pushing yourself deeper into it, because if your drainage systems are not working, your liver, your bladder, your kidneys, your filtration systems, your ability to balance blood sugar, then going into a deep cleanse is not your answer, not first. First, we want to get your body into a state that's way healthier. When you're in a healthier state, then you can detoxify. So again, the right thing at the wrong time, it's the wrong thing. You have to be very careful with that. The right thing at the right time, yay, wrong thing at the wrong time, not good, obviously, right? But a lot of times people are like, I can figure this out. There's lots of reviews on this product. I just looked it up. There's this great review on this product and that product and this product and that product. And They order it and it's totally crappy, or it's just not the right thing for their particular body at that particular time. And they end up pushing themselves into a space that pulls them out of balance even further. So Yolanda asked if I know anything about inflammation that could result from a cerebrospinal fluid leak repair. And I would say, I'm assuming that there was a leak and it got repaired under some kind of surgery. I don't know if that's correct. What I can say though is that any kind of trauma to the body, cerebrospinal fluid is not meant to leak. And if it's leaking, obviously something is wrong. Okay, yeah, so she had it corrected, or she's asking about it getting corrected. So that's already showing me there's an imbalance. So what we do at Be Optimal is we don't necessarily treat a symptom, we treat the person, we treat the body. When the body is in balance, it's able to thrive. And so that's really important to get and to understand that we're not chasing a symptom, because think about this. Your meridian system, the acupuncture system, it runs through your whole body. If somebody has an elbow pain, is it really because it's a physical elbow pain? Could it also be that they have a stomach issue because the stomach meridian runs right through there? Could it be that maybe they have a broken heart and it's a heart issue because, again, the heart meridian runs right through there? So as an applied kinesiologist, I'm looking at all aspects of what affects what and how something can impact another thing. As opposed to just like, I could just adjust the elbow, but if I adjusted the elbow and it still hurts and I adjust it again and it still hurts, do you think it's really a physical elbow problem? Or maybe not. So, and then if it is a stomach thing, is it stomach because it's a stomach emotion, like low self-esteem, unworthy, worried, anxiety? Or is it that your gut and your digestion, your stomach is literally not working well enough? Or maybe a little bit of both. It could be both. What came first? I don't know, but your body knows. It's brilliant. And so we use muscle testing as a diagnostic tool. We use muscle testing to see where your body is congruent with something and where it's incongruent with something. And that guides the path to your individual treatment. So there's no cookie cutter approach. When we go under and we get some kind of corrective anything, even initially somebody getting a chiropractic adjustment, it can create a bit of inflammation. Ideally, we don't want that to last. We don't want it to be something that, creates chronicity in the body. That's obviously not the goal. And if that's happening, then you're missing something else, if that makes sense. So you're like, there's something else that's being missed. It's not always direct to what the symptom seems. So why is the inflammation there? Mostly, if you want just like a one answer thing, it's because the body's confused. Because chronic inflammation is not a balanced thing. It's not normal. Okay. I don't love to use the word normal. I always like to say normal is a setting on the washing machine, and just because like tons of people experience the same thing, like for example, hot flashes when you go through menopause, just because so many experience it doesn't mean that that's a balanced response. It tells me that there's an imbalance there. That's not normal, just because a lot of people experience it. Again, when our body is in balance, we're able to thrive. And so that's really important to remember, and for us to be able to kind of get to the root cause of whatever it is that's going on. So from a structural point of view, right, taking, hot baths, icing, and doing that, especially with an acute injury, that's going to be really important. One of the most important things that you can do that can empower you with tools that if you learn nothing else from anything and you never come into our clinic, this will forever change your life. There's two things I'm going to share. One is water. Our body is 70 to 90% water, 90% in our brain. If we do not drink good quality water and with frequency, there is no way that we can function optimally, period. There's no way. So what does that mean? It means that if you're drinking tap water, which is filled with fluoride and chlorine and all the pharmaceutical drugs they haven't figured out how to filter out, like birth control and antidepressants and all these other things and all kinds of minerals and maybe sometimes critters and parasites, especially if it's well water and things like that. That's not good quality. And a lot of times when it's really not great, your cells kind of go, no, thank you. I don't want it. Then it goes right through you. So you're drinking all this water. You're always feeling thirsty. You're actually dehydrated because all you keep doing is peeing it out. And the other aspect is reverse osmosis, which is stripped of minerals. So minerals have to be stripped from your body in order for the water to be absorbed. Otherwise, it goes right through you as well. It's really good to drink a clean, filtered, mineralized water. So Berkey is a great one, Berkey. That's a great quality water. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a water system for your house. Just get something you can have good drinking water at the very least. Nikken is a Japanese water system, is pretty good, and they have shower things as well. Zero water is very inexpensive. It's what I tell my college kids to get. We just got one in our office. The water tastes so good, and I'm a total water snob, so it tastes delicious. But you can get like a pitcher, just a zero water pitcher, like a Brita, but it doesn't just filter out chlorine. It filters out all the other particles of yucky, including fluoride, which is great, to the best of its ability, which is more than most water filter systems, and it's very inexpensive. So good quality water with frequency, because your kidneys can only handle about 6 to 8 ounces every half an hour. So you want to drink it with frequency so that your body can kind of keep that, your body as like the thriving river. Think about it. Would you ever want to like hang out and play in like a stagnant, swampy, puddly kind of situation? It'd be gross. You would not get in your swimsuit and be like, yeah, let's do this. There'd be like leeches and all kinds of things festering, pathology festering in the stagnant water. When we don't drink good quality water and with frequency and keep that river running, that like vibrant, rushing river that we would absolutely jump into, the ocean, all of that we would want to jump into, because it's moving energy. It's like moving out the yuck. It's keeping it cleaner. That we would want to spend a day swimming in. Does that make sense? So you want to keep your body in a thriving space where all the toxicity and the excess yuck can actually be released from your body efficiently and effectively. And that's really important. Okay. So someone's asking if I can tell a better way to balance. It says IIH without taking meds or Benadryl to keep the head pressure balanced. What is IIH? Or is it like a vertigo thing? I don't know what that stands for, if there's a mistype, but okay, intracranial hypertension. So for me as a practitioner, it's not as cut and dry. It's not so cut and dry with that. For me, that is, that's something I would want to tap into to see why the person's experiencing hypertension intracranially in the first place. I would want to look at so many different things. My brain's just going to a lot of places. So, you know, obviously I would muscle test everything first. I would want to look at how the nervous system is connected. If there is just basically, if there's a subluxation, meaning the cervical spine or any aspect of the spine is out of place, where the nervous system cannot fully communicate brain to body and body to brain, then that has to be right. That the spine would have to be put into place first and foremost, I think, but it would depend on the body. And again, could it be dietary related? Could it be allergy related? What are the allergies caused by? 99% of allergies are caused by emotions and stress, believe it or not. There's only 1% of allergy symptoms that are from true allergies, like a genetic or true kind of experience. And even that can be harmonized. It just takes a little while longer. But I mean, I have miracle story after miracle story of people who had anaphylaxis to different things. I don't fix anaphylaxis. I fix the person. And when the person's in a greater state of balance, we have a greater capacity to handle things, then we're able to handle stress better. So what I mean by that is that if your capacity is here to handle stress and your stress level is here, you're still pretty good if some more stress comes in. If you're already here, if your stress level is above what you're able to handle, then all it takes is one more little thing and you're overflowing. Once you're overflowing, you have symptoms. So the question really is with anything is how do you increase your capacity to handle the stress and how do we minimize the stressors that we can control? Because life happens and we can't control all the stressors, but we certainly can support and help our bodies in many ways. And what I mean by that is that a lot of what rules the roost is our subconscious part of our brain. And the subconscious is our rest and digest. It's where the reptilian brain is. It's where the limbic brain is. And in that part of your brain, there is no timeline. So it's the 3 to 5% of our brain, our neocortex, that wants to make logic and make sense of everything. And when things don't make sense and we can't control it, and it's interesting because it does seemingly rule the roost, but that isn't what it is because we're always trying to figure something out. What rules the roost is the survival of the fittest, because that's who we are as humans. For example, if there was a crocodile that came and clasped onto your arm, you could not be like, listen, Croc, that really hurts. Can you release your hold on my arm? That would never happen. There's no reasoning with that survival instinct, that reptilian instinct. That crocodile will actually have to be killed or it will take your arm off. Those are the two options. That's it when it comes to that survival. And we humans, that's how we run in that survival state. And with our limbic brain, so that emotional memory, okay? Forgive me, I'm actually on a cleanse right now. I'm doing Prolon. I'll talk to you guys about it in a minute, but I have to keep sipping. My mouth is so dry. It's crazy. I cannot seem to get enough water. And speaking of water, but that limbic aspect of the brain is that emotional memory. And so if you hear a song on the radio and you're like, oh my God, that reminds me of when I was at that 8th grade dance and I blah, 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 right? And you're instantly in your memory. That is the limbic brain at work. You smell someone cooking something and instantly you're in grandma's kitchen and it's like you're right there as if it was yesterday. That's what I'm talking about, how the past, present, future, it's like all happening right now in the subconscious part of our brain. That's why healing gets to happen, but it is 95 to 98% of our brain. So it wins and there is no logic. It doesn't make sense. There are so many things in our life that happen and we're like, this doesn't even make sense, but it doesn't even make sense. But on some level, it's helping you survive. It's helping you to cope. And that's what we do. We compensate and then we compensate again and we compensate again so we can keep surviving. The goal is to get you into a state of thriving. So how many compensations do we need to work through to get you into that state of balance? So that's why it's like, I don't know. I'm not there to fix the intracranial hypertension or the, whatever it may be. Whatever the symptom is, I really want to understand, how is your body compensating? For how long has it been compensating? Where does that thing originate? And there are these really cool techniques that allow me to tap in, and people are like, oh my God, your body whisper. It's like, your body's just so smart. I just happen to be trained to know how to ask the right questions so that we can get to some of those root cause things and clear away some of the chaos and the things that we can control, because what happened to you at the moment of your birth and what happened to you at 12 years of age could still be affecting you today, even though it doesn't really serve you anymore. And so those are the things that we really want to look at, because those are the things that allow and create all of that to add up. Okay. So that's one. So water was one of the things. And I told you there's another thing, and that is how you can eat healthfully in order to really thrive and help your body rid of excess inflammation. So in general, okay, so there's a lot of questions coming in, and I'm going to get to them in just a moment. So let me just finish a couple of thoughts, and then I'll answer those questions, and we'll complete the talk. So in general, I tell people avoid the 5 pillars of death, which is a terrible way of saying it, but it just is the reality. Wheat, gluten, corn, soy, dairy, sugar. Wheat and gluten, sugar, corn, soy, dairy. Sorry, I just did it in a little different order. Wheat, gluten, and corn are highly sprayed by massive amounts of pesticides, an incredible amount of Roundup. It's been linked to cancer and all kinds of things. And quite honestly, our body just hasn't progressed as fast as science. We just don't know how to get rid of the chemicals as quickly as we put them into our body. And there's all kinds of loopholes that those industries got through. That includes the sugarcane industry. It's highly, highly sprayed. So when we're putting that stuff in, we're also putting an exorbitant amount of chemicals into our body. So are all these people celiac and all the people that have gluten sensitivities truly sensitive to gluten? Or are they sensitive to the chemicals that it was sprayed with? Quite honestly, I would argue that the majority is from the chemicals, because people will go to Europe where they just don't spray it and they take care of the crops very, very, very differently than America does. And people will go, I ate pasta, I ate pizza, I never got bloated, I felt great, I didn't have any problems, and I always have problems. And that is a story that I hear a lot. What I can tell you though is that we live in America. So what I'm going to tell you is gluten should be avoided. It creates inflammation, no matter which way you cut it. Whether it's a sensitivity, an intolerance, or a legit allergy like celiac, and like in that autoimmune way, it creates inflammation. And so does corn. And think about it, corn doesn't really digest well. When we eat corn, we literally see it whole in our poop. It just doesn't work well in our digestive system. And it creates more stress on our liver. So our liver can't detoxify very well then. And so wheat and corn. Dairy, the dairy industry, cows are pumped with tons of hormones. In dairy, there's mucus and blood and hormones and all kinds of yucky, pussy things. In dairy, it's gross. We do our best to get organic. We do our best to get from a local farm where we know things are raised. That's going to be a way better choice. But in general, cow's milk is meant to make a calf into a cow. Okay. We don't have enzymes that are closely related to cow. So we can actually process goat milk and goat cheese because our enzymes are a little bit more closely related to that of a goat, actually, in terms of how we can break it down. Well, we can break that down a little bit more efficiently than we can cow's milk. So yogurts, cheeses, milk should be avoided. Grass-fed butter in general can be handled a little bit better because it processes more like a fat, and eggs are different. And some people have egg intolerance, other people don't. It can be one of those big ones. The high purine content can create a lot of stress on an already stressed out body. So eggs are one of those things that we're on the fence about, just depending on the person. I personally eat quite a few eggs. I go through phases where I just feel my body intuitively, I need a break. So it just depends on the person with eggs. But that isn't considered dairy, just to clarify, because that's like a question always. So sugar, similar to dairy, creates inflammation in the body. Right now, we're trying to learn how we can decrease inflammation in our bodies. This is what I'm telling you. If you clean up your diet and you can eat whole food and things that are actually meant for the body to take in for nourishment, you will feel so different. So you drink good quality water and with frequency, and drink good quality food and with frequency, quantity, and frequency with everything. Soy is the last thing, and soy is estrogenic in nature, and it impacts our thyroid. So it can kind of mess with our hormones. All the research done on soy was on fermented soy. Fermented soy has wonderful anti-cancer benefits. It tastes absolutely disgusting. It's terrible. It also is time consuming to create. And the stuff that you're drinking in a box, soy milk and soy products, are definitely not fermented. Okay, 9.5 times out of 10 in America, it's not happening. It's also an incomplete protein. So when people are using it as a protein replacement, it's incomplete. You're not getting a complete protein. And what that means is you're not getting the essential amino acids that your body's actually asking for. And so we need to make sure that our amino acids are the building block of our body, our hair, our everything. So we do not have the complete non-essential and essential amino acids. Essential meaning we need to get it from outside of our body. Then we're in trouble. Soy is not going to be your protein substitute. It's not a good one. Okay. So wheat, sugar, corn, soy, dairy, avoid those. So what's left to eat? That's what everyone asks. What's left? A whole lot, an infinite amount of food. You can eat so many more things, but really focus on proteins, grass-fed, hormone-free, antibiotic-free. You want to focus on good fats. They feed and fuel our brains. So avocados, coconut oil, raw nuts. If you can soak raw nuts, soak them, it makes it readily available. So if you can find like sprouted almonds or sprouted nuts, it means it's already been soaked and dehydrated. It has an amazing crisp. Like if you're texturally sensitive, I like a good crunch, and I'm texturally sensitive. So I love a sprouted nut. It's delicious. And you get the actual protein available for you as opposed to just eating fat. And then lots of vegetables. Tons of vegetables and fruit, lots of fruit. So there's all kinds of fruits that you can eat. I tend to minimize the amount of fruit that I eat because fruit is a sugar, and it can, set you into motion for craving more sugar, especially when you're trying to get off of it. Dr. Abby and I created a 30-day reset. We have a self-led program. It's very affordable. And again, we just want to make things accessible so people can be set up for success, but it does everything from helping you to set goals, sort of intention setting. It has 4 or 5 different 5-minute meditations in there. There's physical exercise in there, different videos so that you'll literally be led through like exercise circuits. And then it's basically like Whole30 eating, but we give you recipes, we give you grocery lists for Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, all the different things that are our favorites that allow you to eat that whole food aspect without eating the wheat, sugar, corn, soy, and dairy, to really help you reset, get off of the sugar, and get into a place that feels great. We walk you through the whole process. There's tons of video, there's tons of visuals. So for those of you that are more visual learners, there's things that you can print out and read. So we tried to sort of gear it towards all different learning ways. We are running the class live at the new year, just because it's a great time. People like to do that. And then you'll have live time with both myself and Dr. Abby simultaneously. It's a 5-week process and a 30-day experience. So you're welcome to sign up for that. We haven't opened up registration, but on our website, you'll be able to find that. And you can either do your self-led, because some people just prefer that, to be honest. They don't want the interactive aspect. And you'll be able to watch the recorded live that we did once before. And others of you really want that support system and that Facebook group and the interactive, community. And so that's going to be happening. So whatever interests you, let us know. And our staff can help you. If it's confusing for you, we can help you sign up and get you going on that. But that will really, truly help. I'm telling you, if you learn nothing else in terms of inflammation, shifting the fuel that you put into your body, the fuel you put in affects how you function. And there's literally just no getting around it. That's just the reality. So I really want you to take that with you, because that's your foundation before you start taking tons of fish oil, tons of glutathione, and things like digestive enzymes, although everybody should be on digestive enzymes. Everybody should be on a really good digestive enzyme and a really good probiotic, or even better, sporebiotic. So we really are prone to spore biotic in my office because 99 to 100% gets through your stomach lining and it refurbishes your whole intestinal region, starting small intestine all the way through the large. And it helps diversify the microbiome, which is very important to have all the good bacteria in there. It'll get rid of bad bacteria. It'll get rid of excess yeast. It's phenomenal. So peak biotic, megaspore biotic, restore flora. You'll find all of those. Restore flora has S. boulardii, and then it's got 2 spores in it. So you'll find those at our office store. They're phenomenal and very strong. They're pharmaceutical grade. So meaning what they tell you you'll get, you actually get, which is unheard of in the probiotic world. You spend 50 and 60 bucks on things that have to be refrigerated. I can guarantee you, if you have to refrigerate it outside of your body, it means it's unstable outside of your body, which means there's no way it's getting through your stomach lining to get to where you really need it to get. So that's important to know and to understand, because don't waste your money on stuff that's not going to help you. So I would say, like, start with the foundation, start with the diet, start with the fuel that you put into your body. Then you can start adding in different things that help to decrease inflammation. Does that make sense? All right, I'm going to just look here. I see someone says Whole Food Market, alkaline spring water. It's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. I don't know what flow water is. I'm not sure. So
hi, Dr.
When in doubt, if you're curious or you want to know about a specific water, you can always ask, especially if you're a patient of ours. You can bring in your water. You can have us test it for your body and for you and for quality. Someone said, how can I tell? Natalie asked, how can I tell if my body's ready for a detox? You can't always tell. I mean, you could try a detox, and if you do a detox and you feel terrible, then you know you weren't ready for it, which isn't always like the best way, but I couldn't guarantee one right way or not. If you've been really, really sick, you're not in a place to detox. We've got to strengthen your body first. And sometimes that may look like a specific detox, could be like, you know, for that person, it might be a couple, 2-3 days on a juicing cleanse, or you might do the Prolon. So Prolon is a 5-day fasting mimicking diet, which basically means that it's mimicking fasting, but you still get to eat some amount of calories. So I'm on pretty low amount of calories today. So I'm starting to feel a little like, so this is like a little sugary drink. You drink it throughout the day, so it just keeps your blood sugar stable, so you're not crashing. And so Prolon, basically, it's everything in a box. So they give you boxes within a box, and you eat your day one, and it's basically 2 soups a day with some like nut bars and olives, or these like kale crackers, and this sugary drink day 2 through 5. I feel like anyone can do anything in 5 days. I've done it 3 or 4 times before. It stands for prolonged longevity. So I love it because it helps macrophage, meaning it gets rid of the bad cells, and it helps regenerate the good stuff. So I love that. And in the process, it resets, it gets you off of sugar. You don't just go right back into eating just anything, you know, you just take it easy, and they kind of walk you through that. But it makes you feel really good because it resets you, gets you off sugar, flushes out that excess inflammation. You will see a weight reduction if you're looking to do that. It's a great kickstart. I would say actually shifting your diet first and then kickstarting you even further with Prolon is great, because you don't want to go right back into bad eating patterns. So you want to start rewiring yourself and getting into a different habitual state, because without that, you literally like do the 5-day thing, and then you go back to eating sugar and crap, and you'll continue to feel like crap. That 5 days really needs the integrity of your system to stay there for a while. And it's a really good reset for someone who has really chronic ailments. It's something that you can do. They say, you can't do it back to back. You can do it, and there's got to be about 3 to 4, and personally, and practically, I think 4 to 5 weeks in between, and then you can do it again. So they do recommend, if you are dealing with chronic ailments, that you do it, and then you could do it again and again, but every about 5 weeks or so, until things begin to shift for you and your body starts to feel different. Prolon's not for everybody, but for those that really do it and resonate with it, it's tremendous. It's really a phenomenal thing. Okay, Patty, you said there's 2 major things for good health. One was water. The other is the food. It's the diet. So, what we want to avoid and what we want to really focus on eating. It's just tremendous. So what I focus on in my office is water, food, rest, because when we rest, we restore. And we want to help our body to restore and regenerate. It's so important to be able to do that. So when people start to heal and they start to get treatment, we can feel a little bit more tired before we feel good. And that's okay. It's your body. Think about a little baby, a baby sleeping all the time because they're literally growing like miles a minute, so they need that rest so that their cells can regenerate and restore. And that's the brilliance of our body, everybody. Your body has the ability to regenerate, not just degenerate. So in 3 months from now, when your body begins to regenerate and you're starting to give it the good stuff, every cell in your liver becomes different. Every cell regenerates and can be brand new within 3 months. 13 months for every cell in your body. Once you get to a balanced state and you can begin to regenerate, that's how healing happens. That's why miracles happen. Okay. And it doesn't mean it takes 13 months for you to notice changes. Changes will be noticed right away, but for it to really stay and exist and be the balance that you can be down to the bone marrow is that 13 months. So that allows everything to kind of turn itself over to get to that place where we're really in that regenerative zone, which is awesome. And that's like a really cool thing. That should give you so much hope and possibility. So someone's saying, does the Lifeline technique help with determining the causes of some of these issues that you've been discussing? Lifeline is the bomb. I love it. Lauren, thanks for asking. Basically, the Lifeline technique taps into subconscious emotional patterning, and it really helps us to bridge the gap between what we really want and what keeps happening. Why do I have chronic inflammation? Why am I always struggling? Why can I not have good sleep? Why is my digestion a disaster? Why do I always feel sad whenever I'm around these people, or whatever it may be? I mean, literally, sky's the limit. We all experience so many different things. So it's really about accessing that, what it is for you in particular, and then bridging the gap between, what prevents you from really getting there. When the subconscious is playing like a broken record, we gotta have something to kind of stop it in its tracks. Neuroemotional technique does something similar as well. It's really cool. So yes, it can help with a lot of these things. Certainly if emotions and stress are the cause, Lifeline and neuroemotional technique are going to be where I'm gonna go first. Miracles happen just with that alone. And I've watched people's physiology and structures in their body completely shift and change just by doing the emotional work. Kombucha is a fermented drink, and someone just asking about that. Kombucha is fine to drink. Some people that have yeast issues, like yeast and mold and fungusy issues, aren't going to do great on fermented foods. So then kombucha is not going to be the right answer for you. But kombucha or fermented foods are alkalinizing. So if someone's too acidic, it can help you be more alkaline. So again, it just depends on the person, but a little bit here and there. I would say, like, drinking a whole bottle of it, not great. Necessarily every day, but a shot of it every day actually restores some good bacteria and good probiotic and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's a really good thing. Pregnant women 100% can join the 30-day reset in January. It's completely safe for pregnant women because it's eating all whole food and would probably make you feel really, really good. We also go pretty in depth into supplementation and where and why you'd want to supplement in different ways. With supplementation, we would just want to get really specific, and we can with you when you do it the live way, with regards to baby, because some things are going to be exponentially amazing, like Megaspore Biotic. 100% every pregnant woman should be on it. Safe for babies, even breastfeeding babies. I have moms put it on their nipple when they're breastfeeding so that they get that extra. You want that baby's microbiome to develop well, because a lot of us never really got that. And especially if we didn't have the vaginal delivery, and we don't get access to a lot of that really good bacteria when we're coming through the birth canal. So then again, that's just another hit that is taken from the diversity of our microbiome. So when we aren't able to do that, or we don't have that, then we want to make sure that we're really fueling all of that really well. And so absolutely, we see tons of pregnant women and newborns in our practice. It's fantastic. So 100%, that would be amazing for you to join that. And then just so you can see in the chat section, Damien's been here supporting, and he put the Be Optimal 30-day reset. So you can check that out and click that link if you are interested, and you can just put your name in. So as soon as registration's open, we'll contact you. And if you want to do the self-led, that's open whenever you choose. So that's great. All right. Yes. Yes, Yolanda. Kangen water is awesome. And what I want to be clear about with Kangen, because you can set the alkalinity, which is pretty cool. But with that, with regards to the whole Kangen thing, a lot of times people will set it way alkaline and only do like crazy alkaline for a really long time. That can pull you off balance too. So I like doing it a little bit more around like the 7, 8 in terms of alkalinity. But like 7 point, I want to say like 7.8, 7.6 is great. But if you've been experiencing a pathology, people experiencing cancer and things like that, I would like to, go into more of the 8 points up into the 9 point stuff, because that's going to actually create the alkalinity, and pathology cannot grow well in an alkaline environment. So that's going to be really important. My dog is sitting here like ripping apart a toy. It's hilarious. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But anyway, so that's going to be, I think Kangen's great because you can choose what alkalinity you can put it to. And also the acidic range of Kangen is great for your plants. It's actually really, really awesome for your plants. Your plants will thrive with that water. So, because like plants, right, they're what they love is carbon dioxide, and what they exhaust out is oxygen, and that's our fuel. So there's such a beautiful thing with the way that plant life, Mother Earth, man. If you're not connecting enough with Mother Earth, then you need to do that, because a lot of times our healing comes from just reconnecting into nature, literally hugging a tree, walking barefoot in the grass, and reconnecting yourself to the thriving essence of Mother Earth. What our crap is Mother Earth's energy, and what Mother Earth's crap is our energy. Go create that reciprocal experience. And if it's been a while since you've done something like that, just find some time to do it. It's really important for your thriving. Water, food, rest, exercise, quality, quantity, and frequency, making sure that you're doing it in a great way. We have many talks about that. I highly recommend looking at one of our talks on exercise so you can understand using a heart rate monitor and doing it the right way, because when you work out incorrectly, you stress the system out. Stress equates to inflammation, because we don't want to strain your adrenals. We don't want exercise that should be really positive for you to become a stressful thing, because that would not be cool. And then owning your power with quality, quantity, and frequency. And what I mean by that is that if you don't have a reason to get out of bed in the morning, then what difference does it make for you to drink good quality water or cook good quality food? You won't really care. Does that make sense? So to me, finding your passion, living in your passion, living in your thriving, speaking your truth, that's just as important as drinking good quality water and eating the good quality food. So in terms of how I approach practice, that's really how we practice. So yeah. And then the last question I'll answer, and then we'll just kind of finish this up here, is somebody asked about digestive enzymes. We carry about 8 different ones in our office. Some are more, help more with digesting proteins. Some help with digesting carbs better. Some, like if you eat raw vegetables and it just bloats you and you are so gassy eating beans and vegetables, we've got one that breaks down beans and vegetables. I've got just a whole well-rounded one called Gastro Digest that has HCl as well as digestive enzymes in it. It's whole food based. So that's really excellent for as a digestive enzyme. And again, because of the way that I work, I couldn't just say one is right. I think anyone that says this one product is going to cure everything, it's like, ugh, I'd run the other direction. That just doesn't really make sense to me, because it, you know, to each their own. And it depends too on, you know, where you're finding exacerbations. Once you clean up the diet, you're going to start to notice a lot of the digestive stuff's way better, but it can even be better. And once we're past 30 years of age, we do not produce enough enzymatic support to break down food as efficiently as we need, which is why we tend to burp more, we get reflux more, GERD symptoms, bloating, constipation, then diarrhea and things like that. That's all a digestive issue, and digestive enzymes alone, along with a good sporebiotic, is going to really make a difference for you. So, and again, you can call our office. We have an online store. You can find some of these products on our store. Some of the products we don't sell to non-patients. We just can't, because we get physicians exclusives. There's certain sort of regulations that we have to abide by, but we do sell good quality stuff. And for me, it started with so many people coming in, wasting their money on a lot of stuff that wasn't absorbing well, it just wasn't good. And so I started researching all the stuff, and I started finding out how it manufactured, how they sell, how they ship it, all those things, because it just wasn't going to work otherwise. So it just wasn't going to be good for the person. So I just kept ordering, and literally it accumulated to like carrying a dozen things and then 2 dozen things. And now I have like 100 things in my store. But it just helps me help you better. And that's why we have the store, because I at least can guarantee that what I'm selling is good quality, you know. But again, the right thing at the wrong time is not the right thing, guys. So even though the stuff is great, we want to make sure that it's right for you. You can't really go wrong with almost any digestive enzyme. More is better. You can't like overdose on a digestive enzyme. So just, you know, like if I choose to have a slice of pizza, I have a gluten casein enzyme that also has DPP4 in it. I'll probably take 6 to 8 of those with one slice of pizza, because otherwise I feel like crap. My sinuses fill. I just don't feel good. I get puffy and I don't feel good eating that food. But every now and again, we're living the 80-20 rule when we're in a balanced place and we want to go out with friends and maybe want to have a couple slices of pizza. Maybe we fill up on salad first. So we only have 1 or 2 slices instead of 4 or 5 that we would normally eat, right? Even with that, we pump our system with a ton of digestive enzymes, and we're able to help our system thrive even when we're out, you know, just having fun and living that, you know, that 80-20 rule. 80% of the time we're impeccable, 20% of the time we just want to party, or we just want to have fun, or we just want to whatever. So ultimately we want to get you to that place where you can feel more balanced. But how do you know your balance point if you've been out of balance for so long? So it's really important to go to that extreme, to the other side, so that you can find what your balance point is. Otherwise, you're just chasing your tail constantly. You never quite get, you know, people go, oh, I tried not doing gluten. It didn't work. I tried for 1 week, or I tried for 2 weeks, or whatever. It can take upwards of 14 weeks. Okay. It can take upwards of 14 weeks for all of the antibody inflammatory response from gluten to release from your body. And guess what? Your body can read dairy as if it's like gluten. There's a specific proteins in there where your body can actually inflame thinking it's gluten when you're eating dairy. So it's why I say just get rid of those 5 things. It will make life better for you. It's easier said than done. It's the rule of 3s. First 3 days, going to feel really hard. You might even have sugar headaches and feel like a little flu-like, because you're getting off of something that's highly addicting, but is not good for you. Okay. And the next 3 weeks, you're creating the habit. The next 3 months, it's becoming that habit. And after that, it just feels easy. But you've got persistence beats resistance, guys. You can do it. Okay. It's going to make all the difference in the entire world. I promise you that. And yeah, you can learn about, someone asked about neuroemotional technique. There's actually a little mini video at theoptimal.com. We've got a bunch of videos so you can actually see it in motion, since I don't have access to demonstrate on you guys in our normal class. you can check out the video online and learn about a little bit more about neuroemotional technique and see how it can help. But all the different techniques that we do are listed as our services, as well as in some of those videos, you'll be able to kind of see it in action and really learn a little bit more about how the different techniques can support all the different ailments in your body, but ultimately because it's helping to support, balance your body and to help it be better. So I'm going to end the live portion right now. And then for those of you on Zoom, you can stick around and I'll stick around with you. So thanks so much for those of you tuning in live.